ready to do this? Let's do it! Let's go! They say it pays the cost to be the boss. Time to show 'em who's in charge.
Praise the Lord for my anything crash with this beat. I thank the Lord for my that I smash every week. I put it all in the guts and now go fast asleep. Since she been on me for months and left my message on scene.
I put it to you like this. You dust me in this, I'll let you have that.
Open that mosh pit up.
Let's go.
Hello everyone, when we talk about racing games we usually talk about horsepower, handling or graphics, but today we're going to look at Need for Speed Unbound through a different lens, which is virtual world analysis. This isn't just a game about driving fast, it represents a significant shift in how stories are told in digital spaces. The game introduces a unique blend of ludology, which is the mechanics of play, and narratology, where the story is conveyed by the gameplay itself rather than just the cutscenes. From its unique living art style that blends realism with cartoons to its complex ethical systems of risk and reward, we're going to explore today how this virtual world functions as a digital society. We'll be looking at our narrative structures, visual semantics, audio immersion, and the sociology of space. Let's drive in. First and foremost, we have to understand the narrative structure. Unbound moves away from linear storytelling by using a calendar system as its core device. You aren't just racing endlessly like in the older games, the story is a scheduled progression toward a final event called the Grand, kinda like in Payback. This simply creates a bridge between the game mechanics and the plot. The main missions called qualifiers happen at the end of every in-game week. These act as narrative checkpoints of some sorts, essentially mini boss battles that require you to earn specific amounts of cash and reach a certain tier of your car, as in tier of performance. If you fail, the timeline resets, which gives real narrative weight to your gameplay performance. Even the dialogue is structured for speed. The game uses a specific microstructure where sentences are short and simple to reduce your cognitive load while driving, yet lexically rich with slang and African American vernacular English. This ensures you can process the story without losing focus on the road, which I think is pretty neat. Visually, the game sets itself apart with what the developers call living art. It's a simple mixture of photorealism and cel-shaded graffiti comic book look-alike for effects and also for your driver avatar. The world itself, Lakeshore City, which is modeled after Chicago, it uses an urban naturalism with physically based rendering to make materials like glass, metal and wet roads look hyper-realistic. But superimposed on this reality is the expressive impressionism. When you simply drift, boost, 2D tags appear like wings, smoke, and sparks. These aren't just decorations, they serve to externalize the driver's imagination and form of expression. In most games, it's hard to see a character's personality while they're driving. Here, these effects act as a symbolic representation of the driver's flair and style, bridging the gap between realistic physics and the expressive freedom of simply just street culture, my friends. This immersion is reinforced by the audio. The game employs synesthesia, where audio and visuals are inextricably linked. When you activate a boost, the visual tag appears in perfect sync with a distorted audio cue, making you feel like you're in that one scene from Fast and Furious. This tricks your brain into feeling that these cartoon elements have a physical presence in your virtual game world. The sound also acts as a guide to dynamic range compression, guys. Urgent sounds like police sirens cut through the bass-heavy soundtrack to instantly shift your focus to threats. And speaking of the soundtrack, it's adaptive. The hip-hop score is split into stems, the EDM, everything in that soundtrack list is massively well done. When you're just cruising, you might only hear the bass, but as the intensity of the chase rises, the drums and vocals fade in. This ensures that the player has the audio matching to your emotional state, keeping you in that constant flow type of feeling. I generally feel that the soundtrack, for what it is and for what it's trying to do, it fits. The theme, the game style, the message, everything about the street culture, everything in that, it fits. I personally like it. It just fits. Sure, it's not how people portray it, like, oh, the golden days of the dark and gritty rock era from 2005 was the better one, but that just wouldn't fit, I guess, because this game is trying to be something else from that era. It's 2022 now. Now, we also need to look at proxemics, or how the game uses its distance. The game operates on a system of geometric geofencing. For example, the police AI uses visual radiuses or invisible bubbles that, once breached, trigger a pursuit chase, acting like a simple style of, if the police catch you in their radar, they're gonna start chasing after you. Simple as that. Now, the game also gamifies intimate distance. There is a mechanic called near miss, where you gain nitrates by driving dangerously close to civilian cars. You are rewarded for invading proxemic boundaries without making contact. Socially, we see this in the meetups. Players park in the personal distance zone, which is 1.5 to 4-ish feet. The spatial arrangement allows avatars to occupy each other's personal bubbles without aggression, and establishing a sense of community and subculture before the competition begins, just kinda like car meets or race wars if you ever watched Fast and Furious. You might ask yourselves, how does the virtual world record you experience? Simple. It uses a dual memory system, heat and cache. Heat is the game's short-term memory. It rises when you speed or cause damage or race more than you should. The game remembers your aggression and sends tougher police tactics to stop you. This interacts with the reward system to create a high-stakes loop. Earning money increases your heat. This forces you to make a meaningful choice. Do you bank your cash safely and grind more, or stay out to earn more and risk losing it all? No risk, no reward. This system creates a magic circle, kind of a space where the rules suspend ordinary reality. The rewards aren't just functional, they're also expressive. Use your cash to buy tags, clothes, build up your ride, focus on performance upgrades, everything that it comes to your mind, signaling your identity to the other players. Finally, we must analyze the ethics of Need for Speed Unbound. The narrative is deeply intertwined with the concept of free will. The game presents a world full of ethical contradictions. It asks a difficult question: is it morally justifiable to break the law when a system feels unfair? Or is street racing portrayed as an act of rebellion and self-expression against a controlling elite, just how it was back in Need for Speed Payback against the House, or Need for Speed Heat against the corruption of the cops back in that game. However, the game implies responsibility. Every choice has a consequence. The game doesn't preach to you, but it instills an awareness that your freedom creates chaos. It forces you to navigate a moral gray area where loyalty, justice, and ambition are in constant collision. Play too safely, your week is gonna get restarted because you haven't reached the amount of cash or PR performance for your car. Play too chaotic and you might lose it all, making you again restart the week or the playthrough. So, what can we conclude from this analysis? Need for Speed Unbound is more than just an arcade racer. It is a carefully constructed virtual society. By blending the mechanics of Heat with the narrative of rebellion, then it turns the city of Lakeshore into a reactive environment. It uses living art to externalize and express itself the internal imagination of the player, and it uses proxemics to turn space into a gameplay mechanic. Simply and ultimately, the virtual world of Unbound acts as a mirror for human morality. It captures the struggle between personal freedom and societal order, proving that even in digital world, our choices define who we are. Thank you for watching.
They call me FLACKO and don't play no.
You see out here, street style, it's everything. Old fashioned and new fashion. It's all about the love for passion. We gonna paint this whole city black when we burn. You say it pays the cost to be the boss, right? Let's show them who's in charge. It's the takeover.